So the cool thing is you guys are starting 2023 with the fastest growing real estate brokerage on the planet, what's going to be the #1 brokerage in the world this year. And you have access to so many different things that so many people don't have. So while you guys were doing your business plans over the course of the past couple of months, hopefully all of you guys incorporated that stuff into your business plans. Now, today, I want to make sure that we're talking about staying on track. We all know, how many of you guys have New Year's resolutions? Anybody?
No.
Right? How many of you guys made New Year's resolutions in the past?
Yeah, I made them in
All of you guys? How many of you guys stuck to those New Year's resolutions 100%?
Half of them.
No.
Yeah. So
100%.
New Year's resolutions are terrible, right? Nobody gives a shit about them, unfortunately, right? And so I want to know from you guys right now if you want truth or if you guys want rah-rah, because I'll give you one or the other. And let's choose your own adventure meeting today. I can give you truth or I can give you rah-rah.
Truth.
Truth.
No.
We want the
Truth.
truth.
For the truth.
Rah,
I know
rah.
that somebody on there was going to say rah-rah. I knew it. So if we want the truth, I'm just going to go ahead and mute everybody else and I'm going to talk to you directly. Okay. The truth is that most people on this call will fail to hit their goals this year. Okay. Most everybody that you see on this call, they're likely not to hit that goal that they set out to hit, right? Not because they don't want to. It's because they're not really prepared and their goal isn't specific and they're not willing to put in the work, right? The question I want to know, and I'm talking to you, yeah, you directly, whether I know your name or not, is that going to be you this year that fails to hit their goal, that fails that big goal that they set up for themselves this year? Is that going to be you or no? No, I'm talking to you. I'm not seeing your head nod. Are you failing this year or are you succeeding? Are you going to be like everybody else or are you going to be the exception? Okay. I want you to unmute your microphone really quickly and just tell me if you're going to be the exception or the rule.
The acceptance.
Exception.
Exception.
Let's
You know I was talking to you. Well, good. And so the reason why most people fail throughout the year, especially in real estate, everybody's got a transaction goal, right? But they don't have the mechanisms within their business to even notice when they're off track, right? The New Year's resolution or the goal that you set up at the beginning of the year, it's not one of those things where just by like in a snap of a finger that it's done, right? That's not how goals fail, right? It's usually a gradual decline of complacency, right? And then you realize, by the time you realize you didn't hit your goal, you're so far off track that you've become at peace with not hitting your goal, right? So the question is, like, how do we prevent that this year? How do we make sure that every single day, every single week, we are hitting our goals? Now, how many of you guys were on the Breakfast Club this morning?
Yeah.
Or yesterday? Okay.
Yep.
So I love that call. And I said a commitment to 3 things, right? I said, if you want to have success this year, you got to commit to showing up, number 1, every day. How many of you guys did a great job in 2022 showing up every day?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you had a problem with that. If that was a major problem for you. That's a major problem for most real estate agents, right? Showing up every day, the commitment to show, right? Then there was the commitment to skill building. Okay. Now, this hasn't mattered very much over the course of the past year and a half, because, people were buying and selling all the time. You didn't have to have much skill, right, to go out there and compete. Well, now the market's starting to normalize again, and that skill is going to be the difference maker. Okay. It's also one thing that most agents refuse to work on every single day. Okay. So the commitment to skill, and then more importantly, the commitment to build. And what I meant by the commitment to build is the action of prospecting and generating business every single day, right? How many of you guys did a great job of making sure that you were generating business every single day in 2022? And we'll compact it down to a 5-day work week, even though we're entrepreneurs, right? And we're supposed to be 7 days a week, but let's condense it down to 5 days a week. Raise your hand if the commitment to build should be instilled in you this year and wasn't there last year. Just raise your hand or raise your microphone, whichever one. Okay. Yep. It's true for most. And so the reason why I was talking about these commitments, guys, I've coached a lot of real estate agents, had a lot of real estate agents have monstrous success, more than they thought they ever could, right? But I had even more real estate agents fail, right? Fail to hit their goals or fail to grow. And the reason are these three things. They had a problem in one of these three areas: the commitment to show, the commitment to skill, or the commitment to build, right? So as I'm walking you through these things, I want you guys to think really quickly, and I want you to write this down. In 2022, what were your major excuses for not being able to show up every day? Because we're going to eliminate those. But what were they? Identify specifically, not I didn't feel like it, right? Not anything that you can't cure, but if you take it down to the root problem, what was it exactly, right? We're going to eliminate that. And that's going to be your goal today, is to figure out an exit plan for that problem. Todd, Tally, I know what your challenges are, right? Some of them you might not know how to fix. And if you don't know how to fix it, great. Write it down as something that, hey, I need to get with somebody to figure this one out, right? So the commitment to skill building. Now, this is very important because it's a broad thing, skill building. What does that mean exactly? 1 to 10 scale right now, whether you're calling expireds, whether you're calling your database, whether you're calling online internet leads, whatever it is, I want you to rate from on a scale of 1 to 10, how good you are there, how your skills are in actually being able to go out there and generate. Okay, scale of 1 to 10. And be honest. That could go either way, because you could pretend that you're really bad and you're actually pretty good, or you think that you're awesome and you're really not, right? Either way, right? Now, that's in generation, which is important for skill building, okay? And if you're anywhere below an 8 or a 9, you got to figure out exactly what you're going to put in there on your daily calendar to get really good there. It's got to be an everyday thing, like we talked about, a commitment for skill every single day. And the Breakfast Club is awesome, guys, for that. The Breakfast Club is going to be your biggest tool. What's the problem with the Breakfast Club that all of you guys notice?
Not everybody gets a chance to practice.
Not everybody gets that rep, right? Not everybody gets that rep. So it's important that you have that rep. It's important that you've got a role play partner that you're role playing with every single day. And if they're not great, if they're not showing up, don't let them take money out of your pocket. Get rid of them. If they're the type, they're like, well, I can't do it today because of X, Y, and Z, get rid of them. They're not helping you, right? Okay. Now, the lead generation is great, but the money is in the conversion, right? Because we can all get leads, pay for leads, generate leads, but whatever, right? But the power's in the conversion. All right. So when we talk about conversion, your listing presentation, your buyer's consultation or buyer's presentation, number one, do you have one? Raise your hand if you got one. Should be everybody on this call. That's great, because you all have that foundation. Number two, how would you rate your skill set on a scale of 1 to 10 competitively, right? Not the grandma real estate agent, I'm going to bake you cookies for just my friends, right? Knowing that we have to go out there and compete. Your competitive listing presentation or your competitive buyer's presentation, where you have to demonstrate value, you have to demonstrate separation. Where are you at? Scale of 1 to 10. Okay, be honest with yourself. Now, the good news is you're in a real resourceful group. Got a lot of skilled people with a lot of great skill set that can help you get better. The question that I have for you in that calendar that you set for yourself for 2023, what do you got for lead conversion, right? What do you have for practice in there every single day, Jason Schaefer? What do you got?
Show up to the Breakfast Club and do the ABC. That's my primary.
Talking about the conversion now, right? The listing presentation, the buyer's presentation.
I'm having my PLP worked on professionally right now by Acre Management.
Where's the practice? The practice is what I'm looking for, right? Top real estate agents in your marketplace role play their presentation at least 3 times a week, if not daily, right? So if you want to be a top agent in your marketplace, you're going to be going out on a lot of listing appointments. Your conversion is going to dramatically affect the time that you're able to have either in your business or with your family, right? So the better you are at converting, the more time you're going to have to do whatever you want. Spend it more in your business, spend it more with your family. But that's got to be in your calendar at least 3 times a week. All right. How many of you guys have that in your calendars right now at least 3 times a week?
I've got it.
Good. Good. If you don't, get it today. right? So, so you've got, and second, in terms of conversion, your follow-up process, scale of 1 to 10, where are we at with our follow-up process? Do we have a bunch of leads sitting in our pipeline? Do we have a bunch of things that we started that we didn't complete, looking like my house growing up? My dad used to just tear apart the walls and never finish a project, right? How many of you guys grew up in a house like that? Some of you guys have pipelines that look like that right now, right? Lead sources that are just duct tape and exposed walls and all kinds of stuff, right? If you don't have a strong follow-up process, you're just kind of treading water, right? So if that's something that you know how to fix, great. Let's make sure that we implement that. If that's something that you don't know how to fix and you're saying, hey, I identify this as a problem, but I don't know how to fix it, write that down as something that you need to reach out to your coaches to. And we'll talk more about the follow-up process on our Tuesday meetings. Okay. So, so those three things are important, but I want to install some things into our weekly schedules and into our daily schedules that help us understand where we're at every single day. Knowing your numbers is going to be key to knowing where you're going. And we've got some mechanisms for that. We're also introducing some new things that are going to help you kind of analyze where you're at, right? Make the adjustments. Michelle, we put together a package for you guys that we're emailing out to every single person on this call. Michelle, are you still with me right now?
Yeah, I'll actually drop, when you're ready, I'll drop it in the link here so everyone can actually have it in the chat group, and we'll send it out afterwards as well.
Yeah, this is your railroad tracks, guys. This is your packet to make sure that no matter what happens this year, regardless of whether you have good weeks or bad weeks, right? Good months or bad months, these are going to be your railroad tracks to get you to your final destination this year, if you decide that that's something that you want to do, right? Michelle, can we just go over really quickly what's in that railroad track pack?
Yeah, so when we talk about, I want to touch on something really quick here, because when we talk about, we named the title of this 2023 launch masterclass for you guys today, getting on track, get on track and staying on track. So I think that's the biggest challenge. Like who we started off is everyone starts with these goals, starts with the intent, starts with the ambition, who actually stays in process of what they're doing. And the fastest way to know where you are at, right? All these things that Cooley's talking about, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your efficiencies, knowing where you generate from, knowing where your conversion ratios is going to be in tracking and measuring and managing what you're doing, meaning you're running an actual business. And so when we talk about, none of these should be new to any of you, maybe to a handful that are on here. None of this should be new to most of us. We just spent some time updating our 2023 numbers analyzer, so everything is filled out for the calendar year. Do you want me to share screens, Cooley?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and drop the link in here. So I put all of this in a package for you guys, so you don't have to go look for all three attachments. It's all inside of Co-Founders Group, of course. But let me go ahead and drop it in the chat, and you guys can go ahead and open this up.
So these are going to be the scariest things to you guys right now, right? Because it's one of those things where you've got to set it up so you're constantly looking at yourself in the mirror, right? And some of you guys might not like that reflection every single week. But the good news is, when you have things that are out of place, if you're looking at them, you can fix them, right? And how many of you guys, honestly, in 2023, kind of went off track by accident, right? Not because you wanted to, but you woke up one day and go, oh man, I'm so far behind my goal. I don't even know if I can hit it this year, right? And that's going to happen to every single person on this call. The power is in the adjustment, right? But you can't make the adjustment if you don't know where you're at. Fair enough? You guys feel me on that? Cool.
Yes.
So
Can I ask a question? So I'll share screens. I dropped the link, guys, that's going to have this whole business tracker package for you. Who on here, and be honest, has at some point, right, call it last year, started tracking what you were doing and then kind of trailed off? Who on here?
I did.
I
Yeah.
can see a lot of people, Michelle, who started and didn't finish. I can see you
And I would
guys.
say that's what's common for the most, right? I heard some
Yeah.
voices, a bunch of hands go up. And we want to emphasize on some things that can help you, what are going to actually keep you on track, and kind of the reason for all of this. Who started tracking their numbers, but it didn't necessarily make a lot of sense to you at first, right? Is that part of it? And you maybe start to kind of fall off because you don't really know what to make sense of all of it? Anyone?
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's one of the things that we'll talk about, because it doesn't, if you're doing it the right way, it doesn't always make sense initially. And I think that can be a factor, Cooley, where some people start to fall off, but they
Yeah.
will, right? That it'll start to connect the dots. And it's a phrase that I use all the time. You have to connect the dots at the numbers that it's going to take into your business. Your business will completely change in the way that you operate in it once you connect the dots with those numbers, which you have the resources and the people that will help you do it, as long as you are following that.
The badass agents that you guys see in your marketplaces, right? The guys who are doing 100 deals a year, the guys that are doing 200 deals a year, all of the, and even if that's not your goal, right? Because maybe your goal is to do 20 a year, who cares, right? The point is, if you talk to all of these guys, one thing that they're really good at are the basic monotonous tasks every single day. So if you were to ask them right out of the gate, like Amber, who's with Rally Point Properties, she's part of our group. She does like 85 deals by herself, right? She knows exactly what she's doing every single week. She knows exactly what her numbers are. She's got a dialed in listing presentation that she knows off the top of her head. Same thing with the buyer's presentation. Like, you don't have to transform and become a completely different person overnight at all, because maybe you're not the type of person that's capable of doing 100 deals a year yet. That's okay, right? But you can build. And the best way to do that is to get the small micro tasks right. Right? Those daily activities, those daily micro things that are tedious to do, but pay off dividends because they build your foundation. Michelle, go ahead.
So just re-hitting on, how do we actually start to track these efficiencies, right? And again, we're looking for the measuring sticks to get your numbers to start to make sense for you, right? But how we can actually, it's how you're going to project exactly what's going on, right? This is where we go, where am I actually at, right? I'm a quarter way through the year. I'm midway through the year. I'm midway through the week. How do I actually assess and measure myself with where I am at? These 3 tools that we're walking you guys through, if you use them consistently, will show you exactly that. And the biggest thing I want to break down as Cooley and I kind of break some stuff down for you guys is when you actually track your numbers and your business every single day, right? Not once in a while, not haphazardly, every single day. What it does is it removes the emotion from your business. Does anyone know what I mean by that? What do I mean by that? It removes the emotion that we have. It removes the emotional response. What do we mean by that? What am I meaning by that?
It's like old sofa syndrome, right? Ooh, let's go with Yannick. You were going to say something.
I see
You're on
some
mute.
right.
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say something about,
I was
it's not
gonna
about how
say,
you
I think
feel,
it was
it's just
second
about
nature.
doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's old sofa syndrome, right? What I've noticed about most real estate agents is they have an idea of what's going wrong with their business, but they're actually 100% wrong, right? So like when they're prospecting every day, you ask them, hey, what's your major challenge in your prospecting? And they'll start talking about one phone call that they had, right? And it was that one phone call that they had that they were so close to getting an appointment, they just didn't get it. But that's not their big problem. But in their head, that's their biggest problem, right? Because they're emotional about it, right? And so we take all the emotion out by looking at the actual numbers, the actual facts, so that we can do some analyzing and we can let the data tell us exactly where we need to get better. Michelle, I think that's what you were looking for.
Yeah. And you have to think about this thought, right? Do you want to build your business off of reality, right? Reality and facts and what's actually happening, or off of, you could use the opposite of that, right?
The lies that you tell yourself, right?
The stories, that's what I was going to say, Chloe, the stories that we
Yeah.
tell ourselves, right? Think about this, right? As coaches, as people that have been working with agents every day for years, this is one of the hardest parts, because we all tell our stories. It's always about that deal or about this that happened. Here's what happens when you track your numbers every single day. It's reality, because the numbers don't lie, period, right? We can help you figure out exactly what you need in your business, okay? Hence removing the emotional response if you track your numbers every single day, because the numbers don't lie.
Can everybody on here commit to sending in their tracking sheets every single day? Is that a tall order for anybody on this call? Can you raise your hand really quickly if that's something that you are not capable of doing? If I told you right now that today, all you had to do was send me your tracking sheets every day and you're gonna hit your goal, would you do it? Okay,
Definitely.
all right, so we're all on the same page here, right? And I've created a new email address where you can send these tracking sheets every single day, right? And I want you to write this down because you're gonna be using this email address every single day. And I don't care if you've got 0, right? We're talking about the commitment to build every day. We need these tracking sheets as proof, right? This commitment to build is what's going to get you out of whatever scenario you're in where you're not building enough, right? It's going to remove that complacency. So that email address is paidinfull@cofoundersgroup.com. paidinfull@cofoundersgroup.com. And how beautiful is it going to be every day when you type in, after you're done prospecting for the day, paid in full. Boom. Paid in full every single day. I'm going to review these and I'm going to leverage that. And you're going to be getting some great phone calls from me. And you're going to be getting some phone calls that are like, hey, what are we doing? And don't use any of those excuses as to why you can't send those in. Well, I didn't do my prospecting today, so I didn't want to just send you nothing, right? Well, I wasn't able to do this, right? So you come up with these excuses all the time about why you're not able to do basic tasks, and then you just don't do them, right? That one excuse for that one day is going to be the reoccurring excuse for the rest of the entire year. Don't make it, okay? If it's a 0, it's a 0. Write a short explanation for it, okay? I'm going to help you stay on track this year. Do you guys believe me on that? What's the email address?
Yes.
Paid in full.
paidinfull@cofoundersgroup.com. Now, if you have any trouble filling them out, I don't want to spend too much time on the tracking sheets, guys. You should already know how to use these things. And if you don't, shoot me an email. So Michelle, we've got the tracking sheets. Now, what's next on the pecking order?
I actually want to start with the end and then go back to why the daily in 1 week are so important and how it helps you fill this out. So
Okay.
I've introduced this to you guys all last year. I think I stopped sharing screens. Let me do it again. I don't like to take it. It can be a little distracting, right? With this giant grid. Can you guys see my screen? Should be some very fine print. I don't know if I need to like zoom in here, but regardless, can you guys see what's on
Yeah,
there?
it's good. We can see it.
Okay. And everyone also has the link now that you guys can open. Who knows what let me ask this question. Who's already been using the numbers analyzer that I provided last year? Who's been using this in their business?
Michelle, almost nobody. I'm willing to guarantee, right? These are fundamentals again. Yeah.
So guys, while this might look complex, this is why I'm giving it to you. I want to emphasize this because this is the reality with working with real estate agents, right? Most are numbers challenged. Who would put themselves in that category? Okay, here's reality. Most are numbers challenged, right? Cooley is numbers challenged. Okay. Anyone else with me? Who's numbers challenged and trying to understand how to connect all these dots and my conversion ratios with all these different things that you guys want us to turn in?
I am.
This Excel spreadsheet, for how many of you guys does this look like a Starship Enterprise dashboard?
Yeah.
For me, it does.
So which it does. So here's reality, guys. This is like fundamentals, ABCs to running a business. Okay. And we know that it's challenging for most. Okay. It is very complicated to be like, track how many hours you're spending, track how many people you're talking to, track how many appointments you're setting, track how many you're going on. This is a very challenging thing for people to do so they can actually control and track their ratios in their business. However, it is a fundamental, okay, to running your business. You cannot run your business without this, okay? But we know it's challenging. So this is all put together for you. And the next thing I want to point out is you can't complicate the process, okay? You don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. We're going to water it down to like A, B, C, D, okay? That's all it should be because anyone can do it every single day. The grid is even built out to track and project and tell you, Donna, you're just one of the first people I can see here with shared screens, right? Everything you're doing, where you are at, where you are going, so that we can make those adjustments. Does that make sense? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to change this, right? You don't need to create anything. It's just a matter of plugging in your numbers every single day. You do this every day. It's a 5-minute task called running my business. Does that make sense to you guys? But we know it's challenging, right? But I have to emphasize on this because as you're seeing from this large group here, this is the majority. This is across the board. Most real estate agents don't track and measure their business, meaning they also don't manage it. Okay. They don't run it as a business because they can't connect the dots with the numbers, right? They can't understand where the efficiencies are. They can't understand how to fix those efficiencies because they don't know that. Okay.
And so really quickly, Chase, for you, I mean, you did how many deals in 2022, Chase?
We closed 30.
30. So we did 30 transactions this year. We got a pretty hefty income goal, right? And we're trying some new things in terms of where we're getting that business from. So this for you is going to be huge, right? So I want to make sure that you got this down, and this is something that you're using every day. Sorry, Michelle, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. So I don't want to spend too long on the details. More around the psychology around it is what's more important. It's understanding why this changes your business and your life, right? And your effectiveness and your efficiencies. Does that make sense? It's understanding why, Cody, we were talking about that today with the whole listing process, right? It wasn't, hey, go read off this presentation and memorize it like this. That doesn't matter, right? It's not just fill out these numbers like this. It was the psychology of why does this impact your business in that way? Why are you going to get a better result, right? That's really all that matters, is the why and the psychology around it. Now, when you guys look at the spreadsheet, here's all I want everyone to do. Because again, I emphasize, don't reinvent the wheel. This will be able to tell you exactly where you are at. It is already all built out. Okay. So over here on the left, and actually I am going to zoom in. I know I'm only going to spend like a minute on this, but let me get a little closer here. Oops, what am I doing? Where's my view? Sorry, this is so small. Zoom. Okay, let's go. Way bigger. Okay, can you guys see what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's at least zoomed in a little bit. This is already built out, guys, for the entire year of 2023. Okay, the weeks are already built out. I just have a little bit of data filled in just for fluff. Okay, where this starts, Todd. Okay, all you have to do, day one, week 1 of January 2023 is over here on the left-hand side. This starts with your business plan goals, right? This is stuff that most of you should have already mapped out with us all in Q4, right? Those of you that haven't, that is something that we need to put together, okay? But this is simply you plugging in, how many closings am I going to have, right? It's almost going backwards on the way up, right? How much money do I want to make? How many closings is that, right? How many buyer sales, how many seller sales, all the way to how many appointments do I need to go on, set, contacts made, all of that fun stuff, right? It's just plug and play right here, okay? Everyone see that? Is that something doable that everyone can do?
Yes.
This is where
Yes.
it starts, is you plugging in your measurable goals of where you want to be, and we can help you do that, okay?
Absolutely.
And then the only other thing you're doing, this will also, guess what else agents have struggled to ever tell us, right? How much money they're making, where it's coming from, what's going on, okay? This will actually track all of this for you week by week, month by month, year to date. It's all right here. Okay, so all you're doing on a weekly basis, so you can see at the end of the week here on 1/8, okay, so at the end of this week, you're simply plugging in your numbers of here's how many hours I proctored, here's how many people I talked to, here's how many appointments I set, here's how many appointments I went on, right? Did I have a closing? Yep, I closed a transaction. Here's how much I got paid, right? Does this seem simple enough that it could be updated if it was scheduled on your calendar, Todd, that every single Sunday at this time, I did my numbers every Monday morning. It was a 15-minute task I did every Monday morning because it was for the whole prior week, right? Even through the weekend, what contracts did I put together? What did I close on? What did I generate? Spent a few minutes putting my numbers together, and then I turned them into my coach. Okay. Every single week, religiously, because it was a scheduled part of my week. Does that make sense?
This is going to be really hard for a lot of you because I know most of us are real estate agents because we failed in high school, right? Or we didn't make it to college. So I'm just kidding. Don't get mad. But it's one of the hardest things that you could do because some of you guys might be looking at it if you're anything like me and going, yeah, I can try this, but even when I start putting in the numbers, I'm not going to know what to do with it, right? Or what these numbers even mean. And the cool thing is all of these things are going to allow you or force you to be more resourceful, right? And that's a problem that a lot of us had in 2022 is not being resourceful enough, right? Not taking advantage of our coaching, right? Hey, who am I talking to about this? This is what's going to allow you to dive into your business a lot more and make adjustments. So, Michelle, when we talk about, doing things like this, like unless we have that time in our calendar, we're not going to do it, right? Because it's painstaking. It's not fun. There's no reward in it. So why are we going to do it, right? We're going to do it because we're going to be scheduled to do it. We're going to be focused on that discipline. What do you think that should look like, Michelle, for most agents when we're talking about, our tracking sheets, when we're talking about our numbers analyzer? What does that need to look like for us?
So this is what I want to see, and I'm seeing some of the questions you guys are asking here. First of all, yes, save this on your computer, on your desktop. That's actually what you should do. And now it's your copy. It's now Chase Dolan 2023 business tracker, and it's yours, and you're updating it because all this data in here now, you're just going to clear that out. This is just to give you an example, because when you plug this in, you don't need to touch anything other than this front sheet. Put in your goals, fill in every week what you did. Again, I exaggerated it to 15 minutes. This should take 5 minutes scheduled on your calendar, okay? At the same time every single week. This should be the breathing into your business, okay? It's going to pop it over here to the analysis tab, and it's going to automatically show you your conversions, where you're at. Now there's barely any data in here because I have a fake 4 weeks worth, but it's going to tell you where you're at on track to your goals, Todd, where you're projected to be. So when we get 5 months in, it's going to tell you exactly where you're projected to be. If you're on pace, if you're behind, it's going to tell you all of that. Okay. You don't have to do anything though on this page. This all builds it in for you. It's going to tell us what your conversion ratios are, Chase. Okay. It's going to tell you exactly where you lack inefficiencies and where you can improve. Okay. It's going to tell you everything that's happening in your business if you simply update this once a week. And I know we keep going back to, simply do this, simply do this. Again, this is the challenging part. I'll tell you guys right now, is that these are the conversations I want to have, right? Robin, I want you to show up to that 8:30 call that we have every day where we're there. Just how can we help you, right? I want you to show up from filling this out for the last 12 weeks and 4 weeks, whatever the amount is, right? I've been doing my job. I care about my business, right? This is what I've been doing. Help me understand this, and what are the adjustments that I need to make to be more effective?
So here's what it looks like, guys, for successful agents, right? Just like if you ran a different business, whether it was a donut shop, a grocery store, whatever, right? You have certain times of the week where you have to do certain tasks, and I'm talking business tasks, not the fun part like making the donuts, but how much inventory do I have, right? What do I need to do here? How much flour do I need? There's always that part of the process that you got to do every week. And when we talked originally about why people fail at their goals and how most people don't really go out with a bang overnight in quitting their goals, but it's more of like a whimper. It's because they don't have these systems set up in their business weekly. So here's what I recommend doing. And we used to do a call for this called calibration, where every single Wednesday we would look and see if we're on track, right? It's Adjustment Wednesday. So every Wednesday we should have 15 minutes in our business where we analyze where we're at for the week. Because you guys all have goals on Monday. How many of you guys set goals for yourself on Monday? Right? And by Friday, fucked for most of us, right? And it's because the week just kind of happens. And then we wind up on Friday going, oh, I don't know what happened. How did I get here? Right? Oh, well, I had this. My kid got sick. And all of a sudden, I just didn't work for the rest of the week, right? We're not making the adjustment. So every single one of you guys should have at least 15 minutes where you go over your inventory, right? Here's where I wanted to be on Friday. Here's where I'm at now. Here are the 3 adjustments that I need to make on this Wednesday, tangible adjustments, okay? Specific adjustments. Because some people will say, I need to do more prospecting. Well, what does that mean exactly? What does more prospecting look like? This is where you can get malleable with your schedule, right? So if your goal was 10 appointments and you're at 2 for the week, what adjustments you need to make? So I want you guys to write this down. Everybody should have 15 minutes in their schedule on Wednesday to make adjustments for the week. And then everybody on Friday should have 30 minutes in their schedule where they do an inventory review, right? Not only do they review their goals for the week, but they do the numbers analyzer, okay? And then they do our next thing, which is set up their business plan for the following week. Those are 3 tasks that you've got to get done every single Friday that will make sure that no matter what happens, you're on track every single week. Because we
Well,
don't
can
want to
you-
lose it.
Can you
Yeah.
say those 3 tasks one more time? I was writing too slow.
Right. So on Friday, we do, how did we end up for the week? Right? We do our numbers analyzer. And we do our weekly business plan for the following week. With all of the knowledge that we've accumulated throughout the entire week. We got the power now, right? We got the power to create a better business plan. We got the power to know where we failed last week and how we can get better this week, right?
So
That gives
what's,
us the power back. The
Sorry.
Wednesday, go ahead.
what specifically is that first bullet point? How did we end? You were just like looking at, did we hit those goals that we set on Monday?
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, you have your weekly business plan from the previous week. You get to look at that, where you wanted to be, what your goals were. Where am I at on Friday? Did I hit those? What kept me from hitting those goals? How am I going to bulletproof that going into next week?
So,
You guys
I
see me
wanna-
shaking my legs. I'm not on drugs. I'm just on a lot of coffee today. By the way.
so I know this is a little, I call this is a little bit more of like, this is where I nerd out. Like I love stuff like this. And I know it's a challenge for like 99% of people. Okay. Who's heard I don't know the phrase for this, but who's heard at any point in your career or your business life, the conversation about you have to have some time set aside to work on your business, not in your business.
Not in your business.
Who's heard that phrase?
Yes.
I've heard it.
Yep.
So this is what we're talking about. When you're working, you're just being a worker in your business, right? You're prospecting, you're putting out fires, you're juggling your escrows, you're talking to clients, right? You're running around putting up signs and lock boxes and whatever we all do every day in the day-to-day of our business. That's called just doing like the day-to-day. You're the worker in your business, right? What we're talking about here is that time set aside to work on your business. How do you grow it? How do you measure it? How do you look at how you can get better? How do you tweak the efficiencies? This is what separates, right? High level people from all the rest, because we can all be busy 24/7 just doing our emails and running around and fielding phone calls, okay? Trying to chase down the next deal. But are we actually setting aside time to work on our business? And that is this time that we're talking about scheduling and why it's that important, right? It's setting aside that little bit of time to work on your business to analyze it. Okay. And I want to touch on this again, because when I talk about be resourceful, okay, like Rachel's even asking, okay, well, what do I do with this tracker? This is for your information, Rachel. But what's cool about this is you can take a quick snapshot and you can send it into that paid in full, right? When we do a coaching call together and you show up and you go, okay, guys, I'm ready to talk about my business. We can just share screens and we can open this up and we have everything we need right there, right? Because the numbers don't lie and we can work with you on the reality of where you're at in your business. And when I say be resourceful, you have full-time coaches that are sitting here that want to help you work on your business at this level. But I'll take it to this point, right? Where I say, you know, think about the incredible coach you have in Chad Cooley sitting right here, right?
Sure.
What if we all leveled up and stepped up our game instead of just showing up and talking about stuff and actually showed up tracking and measuring what we're doing and said, okay, coach, look at what I'm doing. Help me with where I can build my business. Okay. You want to talk about leveling up your business. That would be leveling up your business. Be resourceful. You guys have everything at your fingertips of people that will work with you on it. Step up to that level and show that you're putting in the effort and the work. This is called running a business, right? You're working on your business. It's something we can look at. We can look at the reality of it. Now we can help move it forward.
And if you guys are truly interested in growing your business, like one thing that I hear a lot, that I heard a lot in 2022 is, I didn't want to bother you. I know that you're busy. Hey, cool. I know that you're busy, so I didn't want to bother you, right? You can't look at yourself as an inconvenience at all, right? You can't be afraid to inconvenience the people who are here to help you out. Chase, what time were we on a coaching call this morning? You and I?
6 a.m.
6 a.m. I'm up with Amanda Weller at 4 a.m. sometimes doing coaching calls. You know what I mean? If you're interested in growing your business, man, we got the time. We have the time and we've got the knowledge and we're ready to push your business forward. The question is, do you think your business is important enough to talk about at 6 a.m.? Chase, is yours?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah, right? And so we're willing to make concessions with our time, but you gotta care enough to say, hey, I need some help here. This is what I need. How do I do this? I'm not an inconvenience. These guys want to help me, right?
Just reporting your numbers, guys, period, is probably your best accountability partner you can have. So when I always talk about why I was able to hit over 100 every single year, right, for 4 years straight, is because my coach instilled in me that I ran my numbers every Monday morning at the same time and I sent them to her. Now, we didn't talk about them every week, but it was my accountability partner. I knew my numbers. I knew what was going on in my business, right? That I spent less than 15 minutes on a week and I turned them in regardless, right? Because it's my accountability partner, even if this all said zeros, right? The fact that I reported it, that's going to be an accountability to myself. Does that make sense? I'm aware.
It'll blow your mind too when it comes to like just your mental clarity, because so many people think that they're struggling with something else, like with prospecting. I'm not good at this, man. I've done this for 5 hours and haven't gotten any results, and they start thinking that they're terrible at things, right? And realistically, you take a look at the tracking sheets and you're like, ooh, you're not even in a position to win. Like if I did this, I wouldn't have success. And I'm pretty damn good at prospecting, you know? And so again, knowing your numbers will create so much clarity in your brain and remove so much stress off of your plate, because one of the worst positions that you could possibly be in as a human being is struggling and not knowing how to fix it, right? Or thinking that there's something wrong with you, or you're just not getting it, or you're just not as good as this person, right? You can remove that by being completely transparent. So people who coach on these things can show you, well, here are the things that we need to fix. Then we make progress. Go ahead, Michelle. I keep interrupting you.
No, that's perfect. Are there any questions from anyone right now? I know I've answered a few that popped up in the chat, but does anyone have questions on what we're talking about?
Where's the track? Where's that spreadsheet at?
So go in the chat right now. If you go to the top of the chat, I actually dropped a link. It's just a business tracker link that has all 3 documents. Now, to simplify this more, guys, to try to make it easy, all we're doing is plugging in each week. Now, what does that mean on a day-to-day level? Now, let's go back to that daily tracking sheet. Everyone already has this. Everyone sees it. This is what you should be filling out every day on your desk. What am I actually doing? How much time did I spend, right? How many people did I talk to? How many appointments did I set, right? How many appointments did I go on today? Like this is your day-to-day happening every day, okay? You fill this out as you go. You should have 50 of these printed out and on your desk as a daily process of your prospecting, okay?
Drew Call, really quickly, Drew Call, for you, when we coached together, when you were on kind of a different level in your business, what were the benefits for you filling out your tracking sheets? What are some of the things that we used to do that were a benefit to you?
Yeah, I mean, when we were doing this, it was really easy to see like where my gaps were at, right? Like I thought I was making enough dials at one point and I wasn't making enough dials. So it didn't matter that I didn't have the right objection handlers. I just wasn't making enough dials, right? I had to readjust my calendar, readjust what I was spending my time doing. But then after I was starting to make the dials, I was able to set the appointments, still wasn't getting the deals. So then it was really able to identify with numbers that I just sucked at converting at the time, right? So then we were able to focus on that. So I was able to really isolate in what I need to work on every step of the way.
What were some things that we do to help you convert?
Yeah, so we started doing daily role plays, not with you specifically, but like I had a role play partner that was doing daily role plays for my listing presentation, for my buyer presentation. We started going into weekly like lead conversion, where I would bring all my leads to you every week and say, here's where every single one I have, here's what I'm doing with them, here's the roadblocks I'm hitting, and then we'd bring up ideas on like what else I could do with those to move them forward.
Yeah.
Right? But that only came because I knew my numbers and I had a better pulse of my business, because I knew that you're going to ask me, hey, what happened with John Smith last week?
Yeah, what happened with John Smith? And sometimes we would take it to the next level and say, Drew, let me call John Smith for you. Let's put this deal down, right?
Yeah. The first time you did that for me, by the way, I was in a driveway. I had gone to my listing appointment did my listing presentation. I thought it was fire. I thought it was perfect. Went out, you said, call me from the driveway if you leave without a sign. I called you from the driveway. You said, just stay right there, call them, call me back 5 minutes later and said, go back inside, bring a pen.
Yeah, that's what we do when we get competitive, when we care about our business, right? We go above and beyond because we want to win, right? And if you care about your business like we care about you, as long as we don't care about your business more than you, we're going to have a great relationship and we'll go above and beyond. So, Michelle, let's keep going.
Back to how you manage, just a lesson 5 here, Cooley, just to manage how you do this on a day-to-day basis, right? It's your daily tracking sheet, right? You just got to track your numbers every day without a doubt. If it's zeros, if you're on fire, you track your numbers every day. And then who's seen this before? The 1 week business plan. Okay.
I have.
This is where you spend that 5 minutes and you take the last 5-6 days of daily tracking sheets, Angelina, right? And you just simply add up the numbers, right? So now we know you did 100 contacts that week, or 50 or 200 or whatever it is, right? We know that you made, you set 4 appointments, right? We know you went on 2, and we know you got 1, right? Whatever those numbers are, right? These are the basic fundamentals of your business. You're simply adding up your daily tracking sheets right here. And then this number, guys, this weekly number, okay, if this isn't already obvious, is all you're inserting right here into the spreadsheet. You're simply taking that weekly summary and dropping it here. Now, here's why the numbers analyzer, guys, is so important. The day by day and the week by week snapshot doesn't actually tell us enough, okay? It's accountability that you're doing something, right, for yourself and for us to help look at that with you. It doesn't tell us anything. We have to see the accumulative effect, because we can have good weeks, right, Chase? And we can have bad weeks, right? We can have good days and we can have bad days. We can have a killer week and crush it. We can also do everything we were supposed to do and not generate or convert anything in a week, right? Does this happen to all of us? The week by week and the day by day does not matter. It's the activity, okay? And it's the overall accumulative effect. So we have to have the accumulation of them adding together, giving us the total ratios to actually be able to measure and make the adjustments in your business. We can make small adjustments looking at that weekly snapshot with you. It doesn't actually tell us the whole story. We need to be able to see the actual cumulative effect, and same for yourself. Okay, once you do this and you actually plug in your numbers and you can see where you stand in your business, this is where that light bulb's going to go off, right? We talk about kind of that fog of that confusion of, I don't understand these numbers, or that stress of what you're doing every day, trying to generate and convert your business. That starts to fall away when you can actually start to see the analysis of what you're doing. Does that resonate with everybody a little bit? But
Yes.
It's your daily tracking sheet and that weekly plan that we always talk about. And it's simply those numbers and that weekly summary that you're inputting over here. And that's going to give you everything that you guys need for this side of it. So, yes, Rachel, I'll drop that in here. Maggie, I see you asking a question, the difference between a contact and lead generated. So just for foundation, right? So looking at this screen, you guys are all looking at it right now. When we look at there's a lot of extra stuff in here, okay? The only thing that you can change on here, for those of you that are super nerds like Drew, okay, is let's say you don't, properties preview, that's not something you do, but maybe there's something else you do, you can label that as something different, right? Don't change anything else except for inputting information, because all the categories you need are here. But maybe, Drew, I'm trying to think of something, but maybe there's something you do, whatever it is, you can change the name of what this is, right? But the foundation, guys, of connecting the dots to your numbers that we need to know, and write this down, okay, we have to know this, is hours prospected. Like, how much time did you spend generating your business, wherever it's coming from, your database, your sphere, leads, prospecting sellers, farming, I don't care what you're doing, but hours spent prospecting, okay? Number 2 is how many people you're talking to. So your contacts made, actually spoke to a person, made contact with a person, okay? Number 3, how many appointments you set, okay? Number 4, how many appointments you attended. Number 5, listings taken. Number 6, 7 listings sold. buyers sold, and of course, that gives us our total closings. We have to know those fundamental numbers. Now, Maggie, you're asking the question, what's the difference between a contact and that lead or appointment generated? That's the difference. A contact is how many people do I need to talk to get an appointment? Okay, in simplicity. Does that make sense? Does that answer that for you, Maggie? Because I need to talk to 25 people to generate a lead or an appointment. Okay, or I need to talk to 7 people to generate a lead or an appointment, or I need to talk to 30 people. It's going to be different for all of you based on your skill set. Okay, and one of the things that I'll kind of, wrap us here with before I pass over to Cooley again is when we measure all of this, guys, when you're working on your business, right? You want to have rapid growth. Know what your business looks like. Okay, this is how you have
So-
rapid growth and progress. Go ahead.
When you're talking about like, if you talk to any producer who does over 50 deals a year, okay, there's not one of them I'm willing to bet that doesn't know exactly what their numbers are, right? So we spend a lot of time trying to figure out exactly what other agents are doing, right? We spend a lot of time trying to figure out these higher level things and having these higher level conversations and, ooh, what's the secret? Ooh, what's the trick, right? What's the workaround? And the truth is that there is no secret. There is no workaround. It doesn't exist, right? And there's $1 billion industry out there trying to sell you guys shit and secrets that don't help if you don't have these basic skills mastered, if that makes sense. So I know, and I want to take a quick poll real quick. How many of you guys, is this like groundbreaking information? Oh, I didn't know what a tracking sheet was. Oh, I didn't know what the numbers analyzer was. Was this groundbreaking information for any of you guys? It wasn't, right? It's a basic thing that we all know about. But the question is, how many of us actually leverage these things? How many of you guys did not do a great job with this in 2022? Show of voices, right? And so
I did not.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
if you want to get to the next level, you've got to master the basics. Okay. So those commitments, those 3 commitments from us today, this year, are what? You guys remember? Commitment to show up every day.
Show
Show up,
skill, build.
build.
Commitment to level up your skill set.
And
And a commitment to build every single day. It's mastery this year in 2023. It's build a solid foundation, right? Because the market is shifting, right? Got a little bit of an earthquake with the market. And the only way that our real estate house is going to survive is if we've got a really badass foundation, right? And so that foundation has never been more important. And I urge all of you guys to take this seriously. There is no secret. There is no workaround, right? There are basic skill set and task things that we need to do every single day that's going to get us to the next level. How many of you guys are ready to start off 2023 with a bang and make sure that bang is popping all year long? Guys with me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ready to
All right,
go.
guys. I'm going to send you that packet, paid in full, cofoundersgroup.com. I'm looking to see how many paychecks are coming in, that email address. So I'm going to be looking out for yours. Yes, you. I'm talking to you directly. I'm going to be looking for your tracking sheet every single day. Let's make sure that we do it. Michelle, you got anything else?
Nope, that's it. I hope did you guys find this helpful?
Yes.
Yes,
Very
thank
good.
you.
John Patterson
Michelle?
yawned twice on this call. Just FYI, John
Hey.
Patterson yawned twice.
You guys
Michelle,
ready?
could you-
Go ahead.
Could you show us the analysis tab, what yours looks like, just to make sure?
Yeah. Let me pull this up real fast here. And just so you guys know, if you don't, there's only 2 ways when we're measuring you guys' business here. There's only 2 ways to increase what you're doing, right? To increase your efficiencies. Anyone want to take a guess at what those 2 things are, right? When we're analyzing our business, what are the 2 things that can improve the efficiencies in our business?
Ashley Turner knows.
Who knows the answer to this?
Consistency.
To increase it. So to increase what you're
Take action.
Improve your skill set.
That's one of them. Okay. So number 1, who said that?
Improve your skill set.
So there's 2 ways, guys, only 2 ways. Write this down. Increase the amount of numbers you do on a daily basis. Who's heard us talk about that, right? You want to get better. You want to do more business? you increase the numbers you're doing every day. And then number 2, Renee,
You increase your skill set.
you increase your skills, meaning you increase the quality of what you're doing, meaning your contacts are a higher quality, your presentations are at a higher quality that is only done through skill. It's the only 2 ways, guys, okay? And that should make you excited because these are 2 very measurable things. Increase your daily numbers, increase your skill set, okay? Those are the 2 ways we increase your efficiencies. Now, was it Eddie that you asked me to pull this up?
That was James.
Oh, it's James. So the analysis, guys, is going to tell you where obviously there's not a lot of data put in here right now, okay? But this is going to tell you where you are at per your goal year to date, okay? If you're on pace, if you're behind, it's literally going to tell you in a week by week pulse and ongoing year to date where you are at. It's going to look at what you've been doing. Therefore, based on those numbers, based on those facts, we can tell where you're going, okay? It's also going to tell you your ratios. We're going to know your conversion ratios between hours spent to generating, to contacts made to appointments generated, right? Appointments generated to actually getting signed contracts. It's going to tell us all of your ratios without you manually having to figure it out, without us having to ask you 35 questions to find out this information that we just be looking at instantaneously with you. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So on the top of that spreadsheet on the analysis thing, does that get automatically populated? The top-
Automatically populated, correct. So you do not need to do anything here. All you're doing is go in and update your goals. Okay, that should only happen once unless you're adjusting those along the way, right? And you're simply filling in the week. So we're at week 1 of January, everyone. So whatever you saved to your desktop, clear out all the content, okay? Put in your goals today. And then at the end of this week, you're going to get your first line of data, which you're going to put in all of your metric points. And that's it. That's all you have to do. The rest will happen automatically. Okay. And it'll start to make sense once you get several weeks of data in there, right? Week 1 is just going to show you what you've done this week, right? Is everyone following?
Yep.
Yeah.
All you got to do is highlight this, right click, go clear content. Okay. Now it's going to be cleared out and you're going to start in fresh, and this should be saved to your desktop. You just update it every week. And this is what you can take a snapshot of or share screens, and we can look at together to have an efficient, effective coaching call with you guys to move your business forward.
Very good, guys. I just wanted to promote the Breakfast Club really quickly every single morning at 7:30. Please unmute your microphones and let me know if that call has had a significant impact on your business.
Major.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
100% it has.
Definitely.
Yep.
So guys, the people who attend those Breakfast Club calls, I've been doing these for, maybe 6 or 7 years now. Mark it up, mark it down. The people who are on those calls, guys, have enjoyed a steady increase in business, regardless of where the market has gone. So I hope, number 1, you join every single morning at 7:30. Number 2, EXP, you've got a residual income, right? You've got that potential. And the number 1 reason why so many people are making 5-10 grand a month passively in residual income is because they've invited agents to that Breakfast Club, because the one thing that most agents are lacking is that skill set. Okay. So make sure you leverage that Breakfast Club, invite other agents to see what we do, and watch how fast they go, wow, I need this in my life. Okay. So I hope to see all of you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 7:29. Be there, muted microphone, 7:29 culture. Let's go. Have a great week, guys. Have a great 2023. Let's go.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.